We've hired Adam as an advisor to me and to our baseball operations department and really the entire organization. Incredibly important member of this organization going back to his playing days. This is to me a part of us continuing to build out this organization to be a first-rate, first-class organization and a representative of Baltimore in Major League Baseball, and trying to build the organization the right way and bring in all resources possible to assist in us being a consistently excellent organization. And Adam's been a big part of a lot of success here, really big part of the prior era of playoff caliber baseball in Baltimore. And he's somebody that I've gotten to know since being in this job, has a great baseball mind and a lot to offer. And I'm looking forward to tapping into him as a new resource for our front office as we, just try to grow our capabilities. And it's something that this new ownership group has really enabled us to pursue. And we're building and expanding our department very quietly. And this is a big part of that. That's not so quiet. And Adam is just a great resource for us, great representative of this franchise, and has had so much experience in Major League Baseball and also international baseball for us to draw on. So I'm looking forward to working with him even more closely now. He will be in spring training, so we'll be seeing him soon. And I'm really happy that all of you and all of us will be seeing Adam more around the organization in this new role.
I want to say, appreciate that, Mike. That's amazing words. First off, this comes genuine. I've had obviously affinity for Orioles baseball. Winning in the AL East has been something that has permeated through my blood. You know me, I love the game. I love being around it. And I think this is a terrific opportunity for me to stop giving my thoughts to the world and just give my thoughts to Mike and the organization. And also on the other side is to continue what I've started with the community relations and community work that my wife and I have started over the years. So I think this is just a good opportunity, collective for us all. And I'm just thrilled for this opportunity. It's been a long time coming, and just ecstatic about this opportunity.
We will pop into questions. First is from Rock Kabako.
Hey, Adam, congrats. Specifically, how do you think you can best assist this organization and really be an asset?
Well, I mean, honestly, I think my best attribute is to be a resource. I've played the game. I know the game. I've raised children throughout the game. I've had girlfriends throughout the game. I think I can help player personnel understand and how to navigate professional life. It's a little different when you're in high school, a little different when you're in college. Professional life is a completely different aspect. And, I would love to help the young kids navigate that first, second year, adapting themselves to the professional level. I think at the major league level, I'm not a coach and I don't ever want to step on any coach's feet, but I think that I can help with certain mentalities, certain verbiages that may be not suitable, obviously, for normal conversations, but through the baseball channels, I can maybe talk to them in a different light and, give them a kick in the pants in a different way.
Next question is from Jake Grill with MLB.com.
Hey, Adam, congratulations. Is this something you hoped would happen after you stopped playing, that you would be able to stay around the game and be in a role like this and with this organization specifically?
Well, for sure. You see with me working with the CAP program with Major League Baseball, you know that I love the game. And we've seen each other, obviously, at the stadium. And, I've obviously have made really good connections throughout the game of baseball with the Diamondbacks, with the Padres. And but I looked at it all other ways, is that, I'm an Oriole. I'm a fan of the Padres. I had a brief cup of coffee over there or panini, I should say, in Arizona, but I'm an Oriole. And, I think when this news broke, everybody was just ecstatic. It drew a lot of attention, and I think that people really appreciated what I did between the lines, off the field also. And now that I have more time as a retired player, I think that I can give that to the city and to the organization a little bit more.
Next question is from Andy Koska.
Hey, Mike, when did this, start coming into your head as a possibility of something you guys wanted to do to bring Adam back in a, obviously more specific role? And do you kind of hope that you can do this with maybe more players in the future as this organization continues?
Yeah, thanks. I would say with Adam in specific, it's been several years of he and I getting to know each other. He's been around, but he's a guy that spends a lot of time abroad. So we haven't had a ton of time with him. For the last couple of years after the pandemic, we've been able to visit a lot more. And I think just his particular perspective as a ex-Oriole, a guy that devoted his entire career to this city, his baseball knowledge, it seemed like a really good fit for us right now in this front office and this group of players. So this made sense, and it's something that we've been sort of discussing and exploring together for a couple of years now. I think that the David Rubenstein buying the team and the ownership group has given us a really fresh platform here to examine everything, and certainly expanding the relation with our alumni, formatting that in a way that makes sense for everybody. That's something that's been an ongoing discussion, and to me, this is a great place to start. We've also, in the last few years, have built a guest coaching program in spring training where we've got a ton of great alumni, and we're going to have a really impressive list this year too, to come around, get to know our players, have players have the ability to talk to very successful ex-Orioles players. And to me, that's just really important, especially in this franchise with all the history that we have, with kind of the special community that we have and the affinity that players have for this place after they've played here and been successful here. So I'm looking forward to more of this, type of relationship building with ex-players. I think that the team that Adam was a big part of, as I said, kind of this group right now, you look, his team was kind of the last group to have a good run in the American League East. And so it's important for me to kind of build a bridge to that era, and Adam's the perfect guy.
Next question is from Matt Wayrich.
Hey, Adam. I know the reality of retirement and entering the next phase of your life is different for every player. How did that kind of work out for you? And what did you maybe learn about yourself and your love of the game here over the last 12, 16 months?
Well, I mean, when I went to Japan, that was really the end of obviously my major league career, but I think it was the perfect swan song to really go out on. I can just go and explore another country. As you know, me and my personality, I'm going to indulge myself into the community. And, those 2 years in Japan really let me know that, hey, it's okay. You're human. There was no more packing 3 bags to go on a road trip. It was packing 1 bag and 1 pair of shoes, 1 pair of cleats, 2 shirts. It wasn't it just, my perspective changed. And if you've seen the clubhouses, you've seen how much stuff we take. And it just was a complete change. And just like, you know what? It was a great run. I'm normal. I'm humbled, and I'm not the spoiled major leaguer. I love the game of baseball. I'd still be texting with some of the players, some of the front offices while I was still over in Japan. And so for retirement for me was not hard. I think obviously it's tough on a lot of people, as you see in recent days. But it's tough on a lot of players. And for me, I was fortunate enough, obviously, I got 2 kids, a beautiful wife who was just, and seeing the world. So it's filling my time, but I was ready for it. My body's told me it was time. So I think when it came for me to retire, it was, you seen, I was out and about. I was, trying to see every corner of this globe. So I was definitely ready for it. I can't compete. I couldn't compete with these 22-year-olds anymore. And there was no point in me trying. I had my run. Now it's their turn. Now it's my turn to give my knowledge, my assistance in any way, shape, form I can to these young kids. And, sometimes you got to be constructive criticism with them. Sometimes, You got to pull them down from the mountains. But baseball is a very, very tough sport. I was fortunate enough to play it for so long that I have a lot of knowledge in how to navigate a career. So hopefully I can just give back. And that's really my whole mission, is to give back. That's why we started the CAP program. And, that's why, me and Mike built this relationship to form this.
Next question is from Stan Charles.
Adam, congratulations and welcome back to Baltimore. This is a two-pronged question to Mike and to Adam. The signing of Tomoyuki Sugano, I'm wondering if Adam played any part in that. And Adam, could you give us a little scouting report on him?
He signed off on the signing. He's a fan of Sugano. I think he's punched him out at least once that I know of. So he's seen it in person. Look, I think Adam's experience in Japan is going to be an asset for us. As I mentioned, I think our new ownership group is opening up a lot of possibilities, and we see the growth of the Japanese baseball and how it's impacting the major leagues, and we want to be a part of that. When you're a East Coast city, it's not the easiest platform to launch from with Japan, but we're going to make a very strong effort to expand our reach into that country, into that league. I'm excited that we were able to recruit Sugano, and I think Adam, his experience there is going to be helpful, and we're planning to tap into it.
Adam, what can you tell us about Sugano?
Well, Sugano obviously is a hell of a competitor. Obviously, he's a little older, and it's been some years since I faced him, but he's a competitor. He pitches with everything, and he was fortunate enough to be in that group that knew Tanaka and grew up around Tanaka. So he has all the American style pitches. He understands the American style hitters. Over the last few years, I think the Japanese style of play has changed a little bit to where you see some of these guys, you hear about them hitting 40, 50 home runs. Is the guy Murakama, who's the third baseman for the Yakult Swallows. So like when I was over there, obviously not playing every day, I got a very good view of everybody and just watching the bodies of work. That's why I had my teammates was Yamamoto and Yoshida in Boston. So I got to see who wanted to be an American player and who didn't, who wanted to stay in Japan. And, watching Sugano, he wanted to be in America. I know that the deal did not work out for him. And if you know how it works out back in Japan, probably got handsomely taken care of to return home. But I know he has the right stuff to pitch. A matter of health. That's always the number one thing that it's the most important thing in sports, as we all know. And keeping the ball down. I mean, it doesn't matter what it is. These American hitters are all trying to bridge you. And I told this to Yamamoto over there. I said the difference of Japan and America is 2 to 3 guys per lineup are trying to take you deep. In Japan, in America, all 9. It doesn't matter who you are. These leadoff hitters hitting 25, 30 now. So keep the ball down, use your defense, and he'll have a successful season.
Next question is from Junko Ichimura from the Hochi Shimbun.
Hi, Adam. Thank you so much for your time. I have a question, 2 questions regarding to Sugano. I think you faced against him at the WBC. Do you have any outstanding ball that did you see from him? And the second question is, you just mentioned that you want to help mentally the player. You pray at the age of 34, you decide to go to Japan. Sugano at the age 35, he's coming to the United States. Do you have any advice who want to go to the different world to pray at the late career?
Well, the last part, I think he has a lot of people in the right space to, tell him how to prepare for America. Obviously, having Tanaka, who played so long in America, it's a 5-day rotation. It's not 6 days. Obviously, you see nowadays teams can construct different rotations to accommodate certain pitchers. So anything is possible. Obviously, the American schedule is a little bit different. My biggest thing that I tried to tell some people also is you're going to have to worry about the time. You know, in Japan, it's the state of California. No matter what, we had to fly. Well, we flew from Osaka all the way to Hokkaido, and that's what, 2 hours. You're going to have to endure a 6 hour flight to California, 3 hour time change. Oh, you're pitching that night too. Obviously, accommodations get you out there a day early and all that kind of stuff, but time change is something that the body is going to have to understand also. And that's one thing that when I was in Japan, I'm like, oh, well, we left at 11 and it's 12:30 when we landed. It's like nothing changed with the time. And facing him, and I remember my first at bat, I think he struck me out. My second at bat, I got a knockoff and I hit it really crisp too. So people don't want to show that part. But I had good at bats off of him. Obviously, he pitched very, very well against our really good lineup, and that was a hell of a game. We won 2-1. But that was a hell of a game, and he, pitching against that lineup, that was a major league. That's an all-star lineup, and he navigated it well. And you see his numbers; they've been really, really good, consistently, even in his older years in Japan. And I don't see that diminishing. Obviously, the states are different, and mistakes do tend to fly out the ballpark. You just have to keep the ball down and use your defense in America.
Thank you, Dan.
You're welcome.
Next question is from Jerry Coleman.
There, I unmuted. Mike, speaking of the time changes, do you plan on being up in the middle of the night here on the East Coast? I mean, with Adam being in Barcelona, will your phone be on at all times? And Adam, as a question to you, the transition from player to media to now senior management, does that mean you have to change your behavior and what you post on social media going forward since you're a respected senior management member?
I expect his phone to be on at all hours in his time zone. So that's how we're going to handle that.
I'll be available. And, it's obviously having working with Major League Baseball, I definitely want to represent the brand. Obviously, you see me punctually at these events. I'm not going to try and disrespect the brand, put myself in a bad position, put anybody, my family in a bad position. So obviously, I can tighten up on certain things. Sometimes I do have a little fun, but I can definitely tighten up on things. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to embarrass myself or the organization. So I don't think we have a problem on that front.
Next question is from Cordell.
Hey guys, a two-part question. Mike, you may have somewhat answered this earlier, but what kind of went into the creation of this role? Not specifically picking Adam, but more so the role itself. And Adam, when you look at this Orioles team and them trying to, break through into that next level, how do you compare where this team is and where they're trying to go compared to, the Orioles teams that you were a part of?
Yeah, thanks, Cordell. I think I like the timing of this, and so much of my time here has been transition. We had a huge rebuild. We went through an enormous ownership transition. We were dealing with 2 years of COVID factors in Major League Baseball. And now we have this good team, been in the playoffs a couple of years. We've got a core of players that we're investing in, trying to build around. Adam's been a part of something similar in Baltimore, the most recent group to do it. And, we're now have the ability and the resources to grow and expand our operation and the whole organization. And so this is a good time to me to invest in somebody like Adam and bring him into our baseball ops department and help us make good decisions and develop players and be smart. And so I think that, we've got a lot of good stuff going on right now and involvement from successful baseball people that have been here before is huge. Cal's a part of the organization again, and there's just a lot of good resources around here that we're going to, continue tap into. And so Adam, this season is going to be a part of things, and I'm just really excited about that.
When I look at this team, I mean, and I compare it to the teams I play with, I mean, they're more athletic. They run the bases better, one of the best teams. And I know these metrics now. My best friend, Quentin Berry's been the first base coach in Milwaukee, and now he's third base in Chicago. So I understand and a little bit of the metrics and the base running. They're very good at the base running. They're very athletic, taking the bases, stealing bases, something that we were the big hairy guys. We were the Earl Weaver style. We were trying to hit the ball out the ballpark, and you guys have that also. So with all that, I mean, it's like, for me, it's not really trying to come in around and saying, hey, this is how you got to do it. These major league guys, they know exactly what they're doing. Me, I think my energy being around the guys, just there, pumping up the guys. You know, if I'm in a suite or in the stands with a hot dog, pumping them up from the front row, anywhere I'm at, it doesn't matter. You know, the guys feed off that energy. If I go in the clubhouse, like, it's just a little jolt of energy. And I remember when I was playing, and it sucked that Cal wasn't around as much because of whatever was going on. But whenever he was around, like, and you seen him there, you wanted to do something for him. You wanted to get that man to stand up and clap. You wanted to get Brady to stand up and clap. You wanted to get the former players who come around. You wanted them to stand up and clap for you, because players did that. That's just how it goes in the game. And, you know, if I can add an extra jolt of energy there, if I can add an extra jolt of energy to a minor league guy, that's all I'm there for. My career is over with. I just want to now, again, be that resource and that just energy source for some of these guys, whoever wants it. Again, I'm open book to all these guys. I don't know it all. You guys seen my career, but one thing I did, I posted, and I knew how to get a base hit. So, you know, I can help these guys figure it out.
Next question is from Valerie Preactor.
Hey, Adam. Another two-parter question. Sorry, but you were just kind of mentioning it too. When you were growing up in the league, I guess we should say, as a player, did you ever have a mentor or a resource like this? If you did or didn't, is that why you wanted to be in a role like this? And also, I know Mike mentioned it before, but you do like to travel a lot with your family. So how often do you expect to be around the ballpark, or is this more of a remote role for you?
Well, I had Mark McLemore as my mentor. I was fortunate enough, we had the same English teacher, 20 years apart. We grew up in the same neighborhood, so our family knows each other. But it just obviously played with the Orioles. But I got to meet him at a restaurant in Vagabonda in New York City. I was there for the All-American game in '03. And I was a high school senior, just got drafted. And being 20 years apart, he told me literally everything that's going to happen. How, you know, you're going to be a rookie. You're going to go first off the minors, a rookie. Now, okay, you got a girlfriend, now you're married, now you got kids. Now, this is how you navigate kids. And, you know, as you see, a lot of these young guys are getting married. You know, baseball players, they get married at 21, 22. They're weird. I don't know why. Wait, 28, 29, 30. But they get married young, and, you know, then they have kids. And, you know, a 23-year-old is used to having great sleep, you know, that REM, whatever what's that called. And you don't get that anymore. So how do you navigate that? How do you, you know, adjust it? I wasn't that young, but I had kids, and I knew how to navigate those type of things. So just again, I just want to be a resource. There's so many factors of major league life. The outside world thinks they just wake up, just jump into a major league uniform and go perform. That's not how it works. There's a lot of different factors. There's routines. There's making sure your family is taken care of. That's, you know, one of the most stressful things on a player's mind. Obviously, the organization does a really good job at making sure that that's the least thing you have to worry about. So, you know, again, just to be the resource. And what's your second part?
You travel a lot with your family.
Yes.
So I was just seeing how often you were going to be at the ballpark. I know you've come back a couple more times in the past few seasons,
Right.
but is this more of a remote role for you?
Well, we're gonna discuss that, obviously. But you know, the best thing about it is that there's planes that go transatlantic. You know, there's planes that go everywhere, and you know, you see me. I'm not afraid to get on a plane. It's easy to be anywhere. I can be in Baltimore tomorrow. I can be anywhere. You know, so when you have a schedule, everything is choreographed. So that's how I think that's just how it works.
Next question is from Danielle Allentuck.
Hey, Adam, you kind of alluded to this earlier about the challenges a lot of players face when their playing days are over and they're trying to figure out what's next. We all saw it tragically a couple weeks ago with Brian. I'm curious if that has changed your perspective at all, and if you plan to, as you're mentoring some of these guys, maybe throw in some tips about, start looking ahead to what they might be interested post playing days, so it's not as hard of a transition.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it was terrible about BMAT. I mean, and again, that's a lot of players are going through that. I'm fortunate enough to work through BAT, and obviously confidentially, there's people out there struggling, and there's guys that have successful careers in the eyes of the public, but behind the scenes, you never know what they're really really struggling with. With me, again, I was looking forward to retirement. Again, Japan was that 2 years on turf. I was looking forward to retirement, and but again, my wife's starting a travel company. And I always say we have to have something to look forward to after retirement. It doesn't matter how much money you make. You can sit there and make all the money in the world, but if you just sit at home and do nothing, that's a depression in a way and a struggle. And I just think me in my life, I like to get around. I like to move around with my family, and that was something. Hey, let's go travel the world for 2 years and see everything we can, do something different. I can golf everywhere I want. We can eat as exotic and whatever we want to do, see this world. Kids can go to school in a different country and just see the world. And, I got a cool thing here. A lot of expat fathers here who have different perspectives. I'm the youngest one of the youngest ones here. So I'm fortunate enough to have, older men who are successful in their own rights and can, hey, young man, hey, you've done this, but hey, there's a different way. There's more to life. You're only 39. There's more to life. And I've taken that approach, and for me, it's been fortunate. Again, a lot of people do struggle with it. But fortunately, I'm not, and I just hope that going forward, Mike was saying it also, is that going forward, if this is a success, we can get other players around involved more and just get them and get their energy back around the game that they love. Because baseball players, when they retire, they love this game, and you can talk to as many as you want to say, I don't watch baseball, I don't do this. Bullshit. They all watch baseball. That's all they know. That's literally all they know. And to have them around the ballpark, when I see Marquez around that ballpark, he lit up, and he doesn't do that. So that's what we know. And it's just a blessing to still be around the ballpark now with a role.
Next question is from John Mioli.
Hey, Adam, congrats. Part of the reason this opportunity exists for you is because you decided to sign long-term with the Orioles and commit your career here. I'm wondering what kind of perspective you have given Mike or would give Mike on the player side of that, of making that decision of not being a free agent and sticking with the Orioles.
I haven't yet. Obviously, getting down to spring training and, going here forward, I'm sure we're going to have a lot of conversations, in the backfields and whatnot. But for me, it was security. Again, I didn't grow up with nothing, and and I remember talking to Dan. He's like, "Hey, we're gonna give you this." I'm like, "Huh? What?" I talked to my mom, my brothers. I talked to my girlfriend at the time, and obviously the girlfriend's gonna say, "Well, of course." But she's a very very smart girl. But for me, it was just security, And if you see my production from there on, it was just like, "Hey, I got to relax. I got to breathe. I got to represent a uh, predominantly African American city. I got to bring a culture change to winning. Obviously, I mean, we didn't get to the World Series, but we brought back an attitude. We brought back, different the angry bird. We brought back a whole different style. And it obviously wasn't just me, but I definitely was one of the catalysts of that. And it was you can't tell me that, hey, you get to be the leader of a team, and we're gonna give you a bunch of money. That's an easy thing for me, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. Obviously, there's guys that went to free agency, and if you go to free agency, obviously you get the bigger bucks. Ellsbury, Shin-Soo Choo, those offseason, that was my offseason. They got a lot more money, but if you look at the track record, I got the respect, and that's the part that to me is the most important. Is when I walk around the streets of Baltimore, I get the head nod from everybody. You know what I mean? Everybody comes up to me and shakes my hand, pats me on the back, and that's just the respect that they loved the way I played the game. It was respect, and it was the Oriole way.
Final question is from Daisuke Segura from Sports Nippon.
Hi, Adam. Congratulations.
Arigato.
Arigato. Yeah, just one more quickly about the Sugano. Have you actually talked to Sugano in person? If yes, I don't know how much he speaks English, but what do you think of his personality?
I have not talked to him in person. We shook hands. Obviously, there were we went back and forth in the media back in 2020. He was saying he wanted to face me again, him and Singa, because we beat them in the semifinals. So I wanted to get both of them. I got knocks off both of them. They wouldn't throw me they wouldn't throw me heaters when it mattered. You know what I mean? But I'm just excited to get him around. One thing that I love about the Japanese players is routine, and I think one thing that a lot of players can learn is a routine and a strict routine. The Japanese players don't waver from the routine, and I think his presence can just be beneficial. And I think when it comes to English, I think he probably knows more than we think. He's never going to do an interview in English. I understand that, but he's had some Americans over the last few years, some friends of mine over there. So I know that they definitely have spoken with him and taught him some phrases. So I'm excited to hear his English. And I'm excited to work on my Japanese as I try to visit a Japanese restaurant as often as possible to work on my Japanese.